Hey, gang. So Twitter's doing it again. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. So Twitter's doing it again. Anytime you type in for Twitter Spaces, I guess I'm on. Last night's sound check went very well. So I guess that I'm on with some of the other platforms, to include Twitter Video, Twitter Live. But anytime that you type in what you want to do and it doesn't meet their criteria as to what's okay and what's not, I'm trying to type in today's title for the Epsteinth time, and it doesn't allow it. It goes, oops, sorry, it's not working today. Sucks to be you. And in all actuality, everything else, like yesterday, is working just fine. Oh, you know what? I didn't do the Instagram thing that I got to do first, so we're not on Instagram again. But I've copied and pasted, so I don't have to type the whole thing out this time. And maybe this time's gonna. It usually takes like 3 or 4 times. There it is, 3 or 4 times, and I didn't get to put in any. It doesn't matter. But Mike Johnson finally starting to disagree a little bit with T-Rump. Mostly in this case right now over Epstein. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about tariffs. But for the Epsteinth time, we're talking about things that I got to actually get started on Chatter too. We're on Chatter today, so I want to make sure that that's hot. For the Epstein time, we're talking about things that we've been talking about for 6 months. One more second. Things we've been talking about for 6 months. And nothing. Some people are pointing out that he's really not achieved anything. What he has achieved has been through executive order, and most of that's illegal. He really hasn't achieved anything. One thing I'll say, I've seen gas down at its lowest in a while, but I would not be surprised to see that it's actually back up. Because come Monday morning, there is this gnat that's been a mosquito that's been around my workstation and was buzzing a tower yesterday. That thing lands in my coffee. You're going to hear some swearing. He really hasn't achieved anything. And all right, so there we are on Chatter, Twitter Spaces. Oh, yep, there we go. Twitter Spaces. But yeah, I'm really, there's a post on Twitter right now about false prophets, false idols. And Mike Johnson is talking. So there you go, Mr. Holy Roller himself. But yeah, so last night, really good. I got to get my board. Hold on one second. Last night, a really good sound check. Shout out to Scotty, Katie, everybody at Dare Media Group for letting us check their stations as well. Radio X, Dare Talk. That's another thing I got to get back into doing are various call letters. With having started to become limited on it's a huge truck outside. I know I heard something. It's not my neighbors next door because they're actually, I don't think so. It's not going to be right now because Daddy Ross is busy. I think Gary's over there, like the employee that they have. I gotta help my neighbors out for a minute. Give me a second. Are you getting a delivery today? All right. So I'm rambling, but let's pull it together. Don't forget to download the Tone Tip app. Please do that. I know many of you are starting to cross over from Dare Media to Mastiff Media and Mastiff Media to Dare Media. Dare Media folks have done an amazing job in this beta of testing the Tone Tip app. I've got some things I'm working on and I'm putting together. They're not out yet. I've done some tone tips. That's it. I'm going to be doing some more editing today, and I'm going to put tone tips in YouTube videos and in Spotify videos and audio only pieces that I'm uploading for both RSS feeds. And we'll see how that works that way. But download the Tone Tip app, go to tonetip.com and download that app for us, please. That's a huge help. Look, we already know if you've ever seen the Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary is this bald guy that always wears a black suit and black tie like he's an undertaker or some shit. He calls himself Mr. Wonderful. Nah, I think that's a stretch. People called me Yergs. I never named myself that. If I was going to pick a name for myself, I'd pick Mr. Wonderful. Because actually, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, rest in peace, was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up as a kid. Anyway, Kevin O'Leary often tells entrepreneurs on the Shark Tank that you don't have a company, you have a product. And with us, you need to create a company so we can all help you sell your product. And that's the long and short of some of these pitches on the Shark Tank. Dan at Tone Tip does not have a company, or he does not have an app. It's in the form of an app. I have it on my phone right now. But from a level of productivity and the things that this app does, it does one thing. It listens to your phone for tone tips, and then it puts it into a list so you can access the information later. It is an audio QR code. That is not an app. It is a plug-in to other audio apps, such as the directory that we are putting together, we being both Dare Media and Mastiff Media, an entity that, because of their association to the movies The Matrix and my association to Mastiffs, one of whom is named Matrix, our conglomerate is now called Matrix Media. And that's the directory we're putting together. So many radio stations have their own app. And we were going to go that route as well. When we contemplated partnering and making a mega app of sorts, we really did start making a directory. There, I think then they had maybe four stations, Dare Media. Now I think they're up to 5. We now have 6 and are growing at Mastiff Media, because last night I put together our news station. And like the sports station, I got to figure out some of the branding. Once we do that and obtain the URLs, and nobody else can buy it from under me, we'll share names. But I'm 6 and growing. Dare is 5 and growing. That's at least a dozen by the time this thing gets launched. That's not a lot. For a directory, that's not a lot. For an app, for one radio station, or for one conglomerate, that's a lot to, because look at iHeart. You can go to the download the iHeart app, blah, blah, blah. That thing's a mess. It's shit all over the place. It's about as user-friendly as calculus. And so I'm like, why would I want to look like theirs? We're no live on Up the Middle Facebook page as of 11:07. I don't know if I was. So that's what you might have missed last night. I'm just going through the chats here. Supervan Ken said that audio good on Ross Yeager Facebook profile. That is the only Facebook page that we're streaming to. That's what I tried to say yesterday, that I was finally able to say in the sound check that I did last night. The one Facebook profile that we stream to right now is my personal Facebook page profile. The other 7 destinations are to totally separate platforms, one of which, as you see, Ken is responding from, is Twitch. All of the Facebook pages have the Twitch link pinned to the top of the page. So yeah, you now have to take a little bit more of an effort, but it allows us to be at many more places. That same link is on the homepage of mastiff.media, and we also encourage you to use that to watch. So that means that everything actually is up and running. The Up the Middle Facebook page is one that has a Twitch feed on it. And they all will. All the pages have a Twitch feed on it. So there's that. Okay, good. Thanks for checking in. We're still also on Discord. We are YouTube Spaces on at Yerger Ross. I'm working on the page for all of these. There'll be a page off the Mastiff Media website for Up the Middle. And one of the things will be a list of where you can get the show, to include the Mastiff Media homepage, all the radio stations, and so on. Okay, coffee time. My neighbors got back to me. Their employee of sorts is over there, and he's handling the furniture delivery. Tone Tip is what's called a plug-in. Realistically, it is a plug-in into our app. Ours is going to be a directory, and it is going to be the only directory. None of the others will have Tone Tip because of the agreement that we will strike up with Dan and his company. Now, he is selling that to other entities. He was just in Europe last week, got back last weekend, was in Europe last week and talked to the people from the Tube, London Mass Transit, whatever the actual name is, I don't know. But how cool would that be to be able to send updates on, train delays or on or close to schedule, as they say in southeastern Pennsylvania? I would not try to stop that. That's got nothing to do with what we're doing. Please go sell it to government organizations like that. Yes, do it. Do it. So anyway, that's that. Sound check went well. We are on. I was up late last night. My group pledge for my Thursday meeting last week was to force myself to be in bed or on my way to bed by 11:30, 12 o'clock. I had been doing very well with that. And then last night, not so much. So today I needed to sleep in. I've had an amazingly productive week. And I think I just closed one of my clocks, my stopwatches. I meant to reset it because it just ended and we're done talking about this portion. Anyway, all right. Up next, I got to take a break. When we come back, for the Epsteinth time, how many more times are we going to have a tariff war with the countries with whom we've already had a tariff war? Haven't these issues been settled? But no, like Congress, Donnie Boy wants to continue to kick shit down the road instead of deal with it. And this is what happens when you can't deal with it. Among other things, it makes his pussy hurt. All right. Thanks for joining me today, and thanks for being able to listen. Thanks for coming back after yesterday's debacle. Thanks for going up the middle. We'll be back right after this. Hey gang, my name's Yergs. I'm the CEO of the Yerger Group and Mastiff Media. We're partnering with Dare Media of Australia and are looking for new content. Do you have a podcast or maybe a live stream? Does it have a positive message? Is it about sports? Is it political? Is it news coverage? Is it for the LGBT community? Or is it even music? Don't forget, we're partnering with Dare Media of Australia. So not only could your program be heard on our stations here in the United States, but also in Australia. So if that's you, send us an email on air at yergsradio.com. That's on air at yergsradio.com. The yergs.radio URL does not have email. On air at yergsradio.com. And let's get you on air. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching. Dunk tanks. Sauna. Everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness. I could listen to this music all day. I sometimes do. But more importantly, I need to tell you. I guess it's a new tune. All right. I need to tell you about Canton Branch. This thing is so cool. This is just one of the wooden products Canton Branch makes. They were at our community's farmers market on Sunday. This thing is a bourbon smoker. I use it for rum. You see that the old-fashioned recipe is burned into it. And I've got a dog playing in the background. You see on the other side, there's a radio antenna, radio tower with www.mastiff.media. There it is. Now what you do, you set this on top of your glass. I'm going to use my coffee as an example. Don't quit your daydream. I'm still working and things are happening. You set it on top of your glass, and in the center is that screen. You take one of your 6 flavored wood chips, take a pinch and put it onto that screen. Then you take your little tobacco lighter, your little cigar lighter, and torch those chips. And the smoke, because of the torch and the force of the torch, pushes the smoke as it burns the chips through the screen down into your glass. And that smoke flavors your bourbon whiskey, works also with Scotch, Irish, Canadian, and Tennessee whiskey, rye whiskey, and rum. But don't be afraid to try it with your favorite cocktail. I might even do it with that coffee. Why not? Right now, there's no website for Canton Branch, but you can go to their Instagram at Canton Branch, C-A-N-T-O-N, Branch, or scan the QR code in the top corner of your screen. I'm going to be showing the Jason, the founder and the guy that does all the wood burning. I'm going to be showing him these live spots. And hopefully selling him some advertising and maybe even the opportunity to sell his products through Mastiff.media. We don't put out anything that we don't believe in. And I believe in that burner. He's got some puzzles, earrings, these cool wooden earrings. You wouldn't think wooden earrings would be cool, but they are. So many other products. Check out his Instagram at Canton Branch. Or if you can't wait for me, write him cantonbranch@yahoo.com. But whatever you do, check him out today. Or tonight. But check him out. All right, so I'm pissed off now because when I open multiple windows in Chrome, on Chrome, and then I close them at the end of the day, sometimes the second window is the one that reopens the next day. And that's not the one I want. Now, I've got to open all those pinned tabs that I usually have open to start my day. So we'll do it after the show. More importantly, tariff updates. Let's take a look at what Donnie's been doing, shall we? Let's get into the music. Listen to that later today. A 19% tariff on Indonesia. A 100% secondary tariff on Russia. I guess, I don't know, maybe because the other ones did so well. But here is one. Where did she send that to me? Katie from Dare Media. I don't know if it was in Facebook or that. We've got to start centralizing how we all chat, because she sent me some really good information. That's good information. Yeah. If I'm ever murdered, take comfort in knowing that I ran my mouth right to the bitter end. Yeah, that's me. Dan Casper, apparently. Let's see if she's even a recent chat on. Oh, there's Katie. Okay, maybe. Oh, there's the back of the calendar that I sent her. Nope, nothing there. So it must be on. Oh, I have no idea where that's going to be now. Damn it. See if her chat's here. No, it's invites to my other server. No, that's too far back. Nope. It's got to be in this one then. So I'm looking for I don't remember if it was a meme or if it was what exactly it was, but I can't do that. That's where is station channels, text channels, general, unheard. This is gonna take for freaking ever to scroll through this, and it's not even a guarantee this is where it's at. Oh, god damn it. Maybe it's in mine. Maybe I texted it to myself, which is something I often do. So many of these we got to talk about and look at today. State Department firings. That is a Holocaust survivor who got up and verbally bitch slapped the sheriff of Sacramento, California area. Apparently, Donald Trump got his pee-pee spanked by Rosie O'Donnell again. Taco Tuesday. Greg Abbott's a piece of shit. Donald Trump's a dictator and doesn't know it. It's my odometer. That's the KKK right there. Modern KKK. Marco Rubio putting his foot in his mouth. But she sent me this info on, that's Jim, might have been right around this time, so it might be getting there. No, it was after that. Ralphie May, rest in peace. Oh, Donnie. Yeah, it must be on Discord somewhere. All right, so let's see. Let me see what I can Google here and search Australia. Pharmaceutical tariffs. See what that does. So this is according to Reuters and 9 News Australia, The Conversation, and The Guardian. There are medications. Maybe she sent it to me now on Instagram. I don't know. I'll have to find it. And we'll probably talk about it enough today, like with this one. That we pay.
Our neighbour, Indonesia, has become the latest country.
We pay tens of thousands of dollars for per, I don't know, 30-day supply. The one of which was like $89,000. In Scotland and Australia, they're free. And by Trump putting these tariffs on, it's probably going to skyrocket for them too. I just want to remind you of one thing. These are our friends that he's doing this shit to. Here's at the timeline on his $1.6 billion Aussie export tariff. Having to listen to this guy, and I don't mean the Australian gentleman on TV, but Trump is just nauseating.
Our neighbour, Indonesia, has become the latest country to strike a trade deal with the United States, putting more pressure on Australia to do the same. The US president now has his sights set on Russia.
Donald Trump inks a new deal with our Pacific neighbour.
As you know, Indonesia is very strong on copper, but we have full access to everything. We will pay no tariffs.
Imports from Indonesia to the United States will be hit with tariffs of 19%.
I love how he says, as you know. Well, if everybody knows it, what are you spitting it out again for? I remember the first time something like that really hit me. I was at this pitch, and my cousin's now ex-wife's place. Well, their place. And this lady, she was having kind of like a Tupperware party. But instead of selling Tupperware, this Russian lady is selling this telephone that's a video phone. And I was just really starting to learn technology. But the friend of mine that was with me goes, "Isn't this Skype?" Which, by the way, is no more because it was bought by Microsoft and it is now Microsoft Teams. But essentially, it's a video phone on your computer. This was a real phone that had a camera on it and a little baby monitor smaller than your smartphone's monitor is today. And I just remember this lady kept saying, "Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree?" And it got so annoying. Not because she was just so repetitive, but because I didn't agree. I didn't even know what Skype was, and I didn't like this thing. And so when T-Rump gets up there and says, "As you know," maybe people don't. Or maybe they do know. And what they know is that you're bullshit, Donald. So here we are buying copper. We don't use it in plumbing anymore because we use plastic tubing. We don't even use PVC. And here we are buying copper. We don't use it for pennies anymore because we're not even making the penny anymore, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. But what are we picking on Indonesia for? What? Are they nuclear? Do they have other technology that they're going to steal from us? I mean, come on. They're a jungle country. Let's help them. Oh, this guy is so short-sighted.
I spoke to their really great president, very popular, very strong, smart.
And a man that was once banned from entering the US.
Yes, you spoke to their dictator. That's why you like him.
Because of alleged human rights violations. Those claims led to Prabowo Subianto being fired from the Special Forces Command. On Truth Social, Trump said Indonesia has also committed to purchasing $15 billion in US energy, $4.5 billion in American agricultural products, and...
How do they buy $15 billion in US energy? Do we have electric lines that span the Pacific? How does that work? And we don't pay tariffs. Oh, this guy's got to go. This guy's got to go. 86 fat ass.
50 Boeing jets. Trump's Liberation Day tariffs on trading partners, including Australia, were postponed in April. So far, only...
Yeah, there's his... What is it with him and Bibi? Netanyahu, they like their crappy graphics. It would be great if you could read what those columns are. Country. Tariffs charged and... Is it tariffs charged by the U.S.? And USA reciprocal tariffs. Oh, this guy's such an asshat.
Britain, Vietnam and now Indonesia have negotiated a deal ahead of the August 1 deadline. And new punishing levies could be on the way for Russia and its trading partners.
Please make the phone call to Vladimir Putin and tell him that he has to get serious about peace talks, because otherwise this will slam back on Brazil, on India and on China.
Trump has threatened secondary sanctions on countries that buy oil from Russia if a peace deal with Ukraine isn't struck in 50 days. Moscow shrugged off the warning, calling it a theatrical ultimatum. But at home, even some of the US president's political enemies are welcoming the move.
I think we need to send a very strong message to them that we don't think that's acceptable and we think they need to pay.
Are you on Ukraine's side now? No, I'm on nobody's side. I want to, you know what the side I'm on? Humanity's side.
In the United States, Reid Butler, 9 News.
24 years and 1 day after he shot dead Peter Falconio, Outback killer Bradley John Murdoch has died of throat cancer without revealing where he dumped the backpacker's body.
Today, Murdoch's...
Oh, this is a psycho. Had to let the puppy out. So that's the tariff thing. Backpacker killer Bradley John Murdoch dies at 67.
family delivered an extraordinary tribute to the 67-year-old, saying he was a gentle giant with a heart of gold.
Okay, just move back to the side here, thanks.
He's dead, but that evil snarl may never be forgotten.
Thank you.
Bradley John Murdoch, one of Australia's most notorious killers, succumbing to a 5-year battle with throat cancer in Alice Springs Hospital.
His offending was horrific. He just had no compassion.
And that meant the family of his victim, Peter Falconio, will never get to say a proper goodbye, the 67-year-old taking to the grave just where he dumped his body.
The opportunity to, resolve that part of this horrific crime is now lost forever. I can't imagine what the family are going through.
From Huddersfield, England, Peter's father told the Sydney newspaper, "I wish he left something for me to find." It was late at night on July 14, 2001, when Murdoch ambushed the English backpacker and his girlfriend Joanne Lees as they drove their combi van along a remote stretch of highway in the Northern Territory, 350 kilometres from Alice Springs. Falconio was shot dead. Joanne later relived her nightmare with police.
I shout out to the man, "Why are you doing this? Is it money that you want?"
She was tied up and punched, but managed to escape, hiding in the bush for 5 hours before waving down truck driver Vince Miller.
I said, "How do you know he's got a gun?" And she said, "Well, he held it against my head when he tied me up."
Vince was Joanne's saviour.
Just bloody cold and a bit scared.
And her ordeal still looms large.
It's haunted me most of my life, I'm not the same person as I was.
For 2 years, Murdoch dodged the police investigation as Joanne pleaded for the public's help.
I am feeling positive and strong and believe it's only a matter of time now before the man responsible for what has happened to Pete and myself is caught.
Murdoch's arrest in 2003 happened at Adelaide Supreme Court, where he'd just been acquitted of raping a woman and her 12-year-old daughter. A DNA match of a blood stain on Joanne's shirt was the smoking gun. After an 8-week trial, it took a jury just 8 hours to find Murdoch guilty. He was jailed for life.
Today is not a celebration for us. Most important thing to my family now is to find Peter's body.
Bradley John Murdoch's family today released this last photo of the killer in his prison greens. They also issued a lengthy statement summing up their loss. It might just leave some people shaking their heads. Brad was a devoted father, father-in-law and proud poppy. Had a generous...
Devoted from prison? Hey, I'll be at your Little League baseball game from behind bars. What the hell?
Spirit. He was a gentle giant with a heart of gold. Was deeply loved. He will be deeply missed. Peter Falconio's family can still hold on to the hope that police have not yet declared this case closed. A $500,000 reward still stands for information about the whereabouts of his body.
And I hope that somebody...
Hold on. This guy looks like a professional wrestler. Like, we've got the heel and the baby face. This week on SmackDown. Yeah, no, seriously, though. I mean, I hope he rots in hell.
Information about the whereabouts of his body.
And I hope that somebody come forward and do help the police. Because We do need to find Peter for our own peace, to put an end to it all.
And Samantha.
Okay, that is not British. That is Italian. The Aussie folks, this Falcone guy, first of all, that's an Italian name, but I thought they were both British. Clearly the girlfriend was. I heard her. But dude, dad, that's Italian. All right. And by the way, Alice Springs, I've the Dare Media folks, when they do their weather, they include Alice Springs in one of the cities that they do their weather reports for. And now, this has happened in Alice Springs. He died in his hospital in Alice Springs. That's Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I thought that was some little podunk town. They got a hospital? Well, anyway.
The Hogan is in Alice Springs tonight. Sam, is this case closed?
No, it's certainly not, Brent. And Northern Territory Police have told me that they hope Bradley Murdoch's death will now help people feel confident enough to come forward with new leads, because while he never told detectives where he hid Peter Falconio's body, he may have told someone, and one phone call could be all it takes to solve this decades-old mystery. Kate?
Sam, thank you.
It was Hump Day in more ways than one today, with a whale frolicking in Sydney Harbour.
Okay, now keep in mind, it's noon here, roughly, almost. They're 12 hours ahead of us, or more. So when, obviously, people in Australia know that, this is still relatively recent. It's just that we didn't get there yet.
Including right inside Circular Quay. And for onlookers, it was a spectacular sight, with ferry commuters given a rare treat.
It was first spotted around 7:30 this morning, a humpback with not a care in the world, slipping into the harbour past Fort Denison and into Circular Quay.
Well, we often get visitors from Wales in the past, but this one has managed to get itself all the way up to Circular Quay, past the ships, in between the ferry services.
Maritime Services vessels immediately began tracking the whale, enforcing a 100-metre exclusion zone to protect it from other boats and ships.
It's a winter Wednesday, so there's not as much vessel traffic out as there would normally be. There are some community boats out, general public, which we've been speaking to. Everyone's doing the right thing and staying well clear.
Some ferries paused briefly to give the whale right of way, but services were unaffected, and the whale, thought to be a juvenile, was very relaxed, with sightseeing on its mind, visiting all of Sydney's favourite spots: Double Bay, Watson's Bay, Chinaman's Beach, and this afternoon, Chowder Bay and Balmoral.
Which is unusual again for it to spend that amount of time going around the harbour.
For now, this aquatic tourist seems happy with its migratory stopover and is in no hurry to move on. It is expected, though, to eventually make its way south to feast in rich Antarctic waters. Eddie Meyer, 9 News.
3 cars and at least 5 people have been involved in a brazen early morning ram raid in the Sydney CBD's high-end fashion district.
Oh, the best cologne I ever wore was Fendi. I don't remember how or from whom I got it. It might have also been actually perfume, but it had a masculine enough scent that, let me just tell you, every time that I wore that cologne, now I'm going to call it cologne because it was for me. I'm a guy. Every time that I wore that cologne, without fail, score, definitely good times. I just want to check some of the other. Yeah, we didn't go live to Instagram because I screwed that up. To Instagram. D Live, Twitch, Telegram. Oh, I never sent them the message there either. They'll see it. Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's it. Good. All right. So, but yeah, Fendi is good stuff.
The public now being urged to be wary of designer items for sale at discounted prices, which could be linked to the heist.
Window shopping in the CBD,
Well, that's not my
the
problem.
Target, a Fendi store filled with designer handbags.
The overall cost would certainly be in the tens of thousands of dollars.
The gang struck at 3:45 this morning, ramming a stolen Lexus through a glass display.
3 people enter from those vehicles. They make probably 2 or 3 trips in and out of the store.
Filling the boots of an Audi and BMW waiting on Elizabeth Street, both taken from a home in Kingsford hours earlier.
Unfortunately, their faces are covered and essentially they are wearing gloves.
The heist was all over in 90 seconds. The group, which police believe also includes 2 drivers on the run, leaving behind the damaged battering ram on the busy footpath.
It's just a big surprise to see on a street like this.
It's insane, and we really need to crack down on this stuff.
There's a reason why these ram...
So, this is where that guy's got a scarf on. And I know that they're also not only a day ahead of us, but like a season opposite us. So as we're entering into, we're into summer. I guess they're into winter. Yeah. So I guess he would be wearing a scarf. All right. I'm the asshole then. All right. Good enough. Who didn't know that?
Raids are becoming less common. They take a lot of people and a lot of planning. And even when they steal the goods, they have to sell them on the black market to make any money.
In the next few days, if people do see luxury...
Oh, bitch, please. You think they're going to be selling that shit a block away from the store they ripped it from? They're in the hood. They're out in the outback. The far outback. Out back in the alley.
handbags for sale on various platforms at prices that, are below normal market value, those bags may well be stolen. And they could have been stolen from this incident today.
Detectives have a long trail of breadcrumbs to follow. As for any bargain hunters in the market for a luxury bag...
If it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
James Wilson, 9 News.
All right. Well, there we go. There's some Australian news as well. I am psyched for this. Super producer Ken, asked me earlier this week. In fact, I think it was Monday. If I saw the new Superman yet. I did not. I'm going to. I still say, and I haven't seen the new guy yet. Obviously, and not just because he died of a tragic accident or whatever, but Christopher Reeve is always, he just was. If he could still be alive and well today, I think he would have been the best mannerisms, the best look that was Superman. I don't mind Henry Cavill. Apparently, and this might, even if this isn't true, you still have to manage your own reputation. So if what they're saying about how he left the DC universe is true, or is, let's say it's not true, then he needs to be on top of that and he needs to be pushing back. But one of the, I guess, rumors, and maybe it's the truth, as to how he left DC Universe was that he was supposed to actually facially appear in the Superman cameo at the end of Shazam. And he wanted too much money to make that a cameo, to make that appearance. You're there for a day. You get paid $20,000 to be there for a day. That's not enough. What kind of an ass are you? It's part of the brand that you're helping to create. And I'm not saying that's the going rate. It's not. It's more than that. I get that. But whatever money he supposedly wanted, and I don't know that this, I've not confirmed this. I don't care. And that's the reason why at the end of Shazam, when you see Superman, all you see is his chest, because they couldn't actually get Henry Cavill. 1 or 2 movies later, Henry Cavill's no longer part of the franchise. The other thing that I didn't like about Henry Cavill was that he never had the swirl. I didn't mind not having the red bikini briefs. I actually thought that was probably better. I honestly, I don't get the underwear look. But you can have the swirl. Come on. So that being said, my number 2, who sadly was one and done because of how he sounded. And I mean, this was scary, identical. And that, of course, is Brandon Routh. If you're looking at the corner, he's the second one, aside of Christopher Reeve. Then Henry, and then this new guy, who I understand is actually doing pretty good. He's apparently is getting some pretty good reviews. I want to see it because I'm a Green Lantern fan. I wish it wasn't Guy Gardner. Although, what I know about that character, Nathan Fillion's actually pretty damn good. You know, I like what he's doing with it. And I hope they do some sort of spinoff with him, featuring him. But I mean, for fuck's sake and all, bring Hal Jordan in. It's time. You let Ryan Reynolds screw it up. And that wasn't his fault. It was a poor script and an even worse plot. Why you would start with Parallax, I have no idea, as the villain. That was stupid. But Guy Gardner, bring in some of the diversity. And I know there's this other, I don't know, there's this other black dude that's one of the superheroes. I'm not familiar with that one. But bring in Jon Stewart. Guy Gardner. So yeah, that's, if not for the sometime during the week, maybe the weekend, I still need to run down to Guitar Center and get this thing unscrewed up. We're at the top of the hour, and because we're no longer on terrestrial radio, I don't have to necessarily worry about, telling everybody, hey, follow us here, do this, that, and the other thing. Super Van Ken, super producer, says Dean Cain is the worst Superman. I'm forgiving. I don't agree. And I'll tell you why. He's on TV. Very rarely have I ever seen any TV production of anything like this get the same attention that a movie does. And that's because, obviously, to put the level of technology and special effects and what that costs, movie quality, into a weekly or even a series like, a mini series type thing, 3 or 4 nights for the week and it's done. That's just a lot of money. And so anybody playing a superhero is already got their hands tied on TV. I think Green Arrow was amazing. I think another one that was done very well because it was all which was, I think, was genius, was Gotham. In Gotham, Bruce Wayne's parents are still alive, and Bruce Wayne is a Batman, is a boy. And it develops all the villains as they were young, and as well as Jim Gordon when he was some punk detective. That was brilliant. So Dean Cain being the worst, Dean Cain was handcuffed. Dean Cain was handcuffed. And I agree with Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve appeared on The Tonight Show before his accident. And they were contemplating a next Superman. And he suggested Dean Cain. And the crowd went crazy. And I think that's because they would have liked to see Dean Cain with a budget, not just on TV. Like George Reeves, he got screwed. And I don't think for the 1950s, 1960s, I think that was actually met expectations and what Superman could do on TV. He thought it was a joke. It was either George Reeves or there's one other guy who did a TV early 60s, late 50s, something like that, a Superman. He thought it was a joke because he knew what you could do on TV back then, and he knew what Superman does. And finally, it actually worked out that, he did whatever number of seasons. But and it really hurts to have to say that about Henry Cavill because the first movie I ever saw him in, talk about inappropriate homoeroticism. The first movie I ever saw him in, he played Albert, the old enough teenage son of I forget what the villain character's name was, but Guy Pearce's character, a great actor, by the way, in the movie The Count of Monte Cristo with Jim Caviezel. And the late Dumbledore was the minister, who was the reverend in the prison. Harris. James Harris, I think, was also the guy from the movie My Dad Loves a Man Called Horse. Jared Harris is his son. This is like, 10 degrees from Kevin Bacon. We'll be talking about Kevin Bacon before too long. Jared Harris played U.S. Grant in, I think, the movie Lincoln, and also played Professor Moriarty opposite RDJ in Sherlock Holmes. That's Jared Harris. His dad, Richard Harris, was Dumbledore. Mr. Terrific, one of DC Comics' most smartest black men. You're not sounding most smartest there, are you? By most smartest Or is that a thing that this guy actually says? I don't know. Yeah, Mr. Terrific. So is he like Plastic Man, Mr. Fantastic? Like Reed Richards is like a Plastic Man kind of guy? Is Mr. Terrific a Plastic Man kind of dude? Or what is his superpower? I've actually never heard of him before. Oh, Matrix is snoring. But yeah, well, he's getting back on that. Don't forget, we're on Dare Media, Dare Talk Radio, and Radio X. I don't know if we're on any of the others or not, because they might be starting to branch out and get enough content to not need us. Ugh. And we're on now 6 Mastiff Media stations. Yerg's Radio, Positive Talk in a Negative World. For the conservatives out there, we're also on Right Talk Radio for all the conservatives and everyone else in their right mind. For the lefties and the progressives and the liberals, we're on Forward Radio. Tomorrow's answers today. Progressive, forward. For the LGBT community, we're on Rainbow Radio, serving the LGBT community locally, globally, and everywhere in between, where it's pride every day. I say that's 4. We're on our sports station just right now because keep it alive. And we're now on our news station. It will also have our relevant puppy dog theme to be announced once we buy the URL. But 24/7 news and traffic coming soon. To join that team, go to mastiff.media. I'll put the page up here. Join the big dogs. Mastiff.media. Where's the thing out there? There we go. Yeah, I didn't bother too much with the bedhead today. I didn't care. To join the big dogs, you can be part of our on-air talent. You work in the newsroom at our brand new 24/7 news station. You can do on-location reporting for us. Sports play-by-play. Yes, that's a computer gaming thing, but that's all I could find. Special features. Ad sales. We're monetizing, finally. Traffic reporting. We will pay you to drive to work. How cool is that? And if you think you can beat me, on-air talent. That's the simple form to fill out. Right there. Name, your nickname or on-air name if you got one. The position that you're looking for, your email, phone number, what your vision is, and then the chance to upload some documents like resumes or maybe some audio files of your work, and then send us some URLs too. But imagine, like, what if you drove an hour one way from like Spring Hill to Tampa to the airport, say? How cool would that be to get $20 a day in gas money to let us put some sort of like transponder or tracker in your car so that we would be able to monitor traffic on whatever route it is that you use? And then maybe an extra $5 or $10 if you send us photos of an accident that you see along the way. How awesome would that be? Come on. You just paid for your gas. It might not be like a good salary for somebody to do as a job, but think about Uber drivers. Why not let us give you, I don't know, one of those Apple tag thingies and just let us follow you around for $20. That's $100 a week. That's an extra $5,000. No. Is it $5,000? I can't add. I suck at math. Yeah, it's $5,000. 20 bucks times 340. So you take 330. That's $6,600 if you take a month off. And we can do it as an expense. We pay a service. You don't necessarily have to, tell anybody about it. Extra, 66, extra $500 a month. That's your car payment. How cool would that be? That's just that one. For those of you already doing marketing and ad sales, say, hey, you know what? I got this other client too. They got 6 radio stations. Actually, they got almost a dozen. Half of them aren't even in the country, but you got a product, a consulting firm, whatever. You should be advertising on there. So there we go. There's that. Join the big dogs. Go to mastiff.media/join and sign up today. Our stations, I think I talked about this, but I got to add another one now too. Jesus. Yerg's Radio, Right Talk Radio, Forward Radio, RainbowRadio.gay, Mastiff Sports. That's all we're calling it right now. We don't know what we're going to, I know what we're going to call it, but until, I really work that out a little bit and see what comes back with like Google searches and things like that. It's not Mastiff Sports. It's just the placeholder. But, when we do start testing that, and then once we like it, then we got to get the URL. If it's open, if there's something that I don't do long URLs. Right Talk Radio is probably one of the longest ones I've got. And it's righttalk.radio. It's .radio. So that's it. It's not righttalkradio.com. It's .radio. RainbowRadio.gay and .lgbt are probably really the longest URLs that I own. Besides, well, actually, there's Up the Middle. There's Up the Middle podcast. I got one for Up the Middle that's long, but Up the Middle is a saying that's used in baseball and football. So, there's already a billion Up the Middles out there. I had to do something additional, like Up the Middle Yergs, something like that. Or Up Yergs' Middle, whatever. So anyway, but .gay and .lgbt, I have rainbow.radio. And I can use that. But for marketing purpose, because it's for the gay community, I would obviously rather use .gay and .lgbt. Play-by-play, this is cool. With just your phone and its data plan or an internet connection, you and or your sports team, your youth organization, school, whoever, can rent time on a dedicated frequency to broadcast today's game over the Mastiff Media Sports Network. That's not what we're calling it, but so yeah, now you can do the play-by-play at your kid's game, or have somebody do the play-by-play for you if you can't make it. Why? There's some other service out there. I'm not sure what it is, but my mom subscribes to it. She, the listener, the fan, subscribes to this service to get some coworker softball game or some shit. Why would you pay $20 a month when that organization, the softball team, can sell just a few more hoagies or put another $5 on all the sponsors that they've got already to pay for you. You get your dedicated channel, your game, or even your season will be on a dedicated quote-unquote frequency supported by Mastiff Media. And it's not Mastiff. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be, but supported by Mastiff Media. That's the parent company. Community listening, your game or games will be in a community listing alongside other Little League, high school, college, and even minor league baseball sports teams. So that's on our website. And then what you do with it, totally up to you. And it's right from your phone. Your setup can be as intricate as you want or as simple as one or two mics and a smartphone. That's it. That's it. You're on the air. You're doing a baseball. And I've tested it. I've got the one app that we could use on a smartphone. On my smartphone right now. So yeah, I'm pretty psyched to launch this. I'm going to get rid of some of these clocks. They're not these stopwatches. I'm not paying attention to them today. Get a price quote. Give me your name and email and a phone number. Look at all these sports we'll help you cover. Baseball. 3 different types of football. American, soccer, and Australian rules. Basketball, ice hockey, auto racing, wrestling, sport fishing, volleyball, pickleball, tennis, paintball, and airsoft, and anything we may have missed. Then the broadcast rights, what do you have so far? Maybe there's no copyright needed. It's a community event like the Little League baseball game. If it's something with your university or professional team and you've got the rights and the permissions obtained, tell us that. Almost. We're working on it. Or we're trying. We could use Mastiff.media's help. We'll help you get the rights to the game that you want to broadcast. And then we want to know the level of play, because that's cool for marketing and that's cool for marketing and for the advertising, but also it's a big deal because if you're going into a professional baseball stadium, they've probably got the internet there for you. Maybe we can get you a press box. Collegiate, same thing. Maybe some of the schools, amateur community. Your phone should be able to handle it, but maybe we're also working out deals with things like Star Internet, Elon Musk's thing. We're talking with them too. And then a spot for you to give us some more details. And then finally, request your quote. This is where this is right now just a list of the shows that are on the air with us. Sportcat came back yesterday. We're glad to see him doing well. Outrage Overload, Scott and Jai, Be Inspired. That's Jane Stahl. Coyote Small Business Podcast. That's Thomas Wu from my Thursday morning meetings. Mastiff Media Magazine. That's coming back. That's our news show. Obviously, now that we got a station, that's kind of a, hello. Daily Crypto News. That's Matt Deemer from Friday. And the Randy Report is for the LGBT community. If you want your show up here, let us know. Give us a call at 1-888-322-4298. That's the office toll-free number. Or you can write us news, NEWZ@yergs.com. Our affiliate stations, this is like everybody from, I got to update this because I don't know if I want to go with like all 3. Or actually, all 5. Or each one have their own. I don't know. I got to figure that out. But Sportcat has his own company called Nightlight Studios. ZQR has been amazing. They're here in Florida, a little further south of us on Pine Island, down by like Sarasota, Naples. We're not on their terrestrial frequency. But in addition to that, they've got 7 online stations like us. And they've been great. DNR Studios, we have the live feed. Oh, I got to check that, actually. Because we have I think they updated it. I can never find it. There it is. Let's see how we're sounding. But DNR Studios, go to dnrstudios.com and learn more about them. There it is. Oh, wow. Not even much of a delay either. That's awesome. dnrstudios.com at Derek and Romaine. They got their start together at Sirius XM. And they were on the gay channel, whatever that was. I don't remember. But they were on the gay channel at Sirius XM, and then they canceled that channel and they got fired, which was total dick move. It was such a poor decision by Sirius XM. And then that's the Biz Growth Collective that you know about, and that's our London station, UG Media, United Global Media, Channel XL. We're with them on Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm going to, here, look at that. See that admin at the UG.media? Take a moment and write them, please. Tell them they need us 5 days a week. They got 2 stations, UG1 and UGXL. Tell them they need us all 5 days a week. They'll be so much better. And that's, do you feel it? I mean, we've got like, I want to put Chatter on here as well. And then there's going to be another page, in addition to affiliate stations, there's going to be another page for Up the Middle. Just for this show right here. That's me. Those are all working buttons where you can get different shit from Up the Middle. All the different social medias at the bottom. But that's not necessarily where you can hear, like, there's one Facebook button. You can hear the show on all of our Facebook pages just by clicking on the Twitch feed that's there. You can get that same feed on the homepage of this website. Watch this. Here's the homepage, and dun-da-da. Dun-da-da. Oh, that's not going to be too crazy. It's going to keep going and open and open and open. So, yeah. There's a little bit about me. I put that way in the back because that was like the second tab. And I'm like, nobody needs, if they want to learn that much about me, they can, scroll through the important shit. And we've even got more tabs now. There's the blogs and news plus contact at the very back. I might move that up right, around in between, like join the band or maybe contact, then join the big dogs, something like that. Only because I want to, my biggest pet peeve as I reach out to all these other potential additions to our lineup, these people don't want to be reached out to. I don't know how in the shit they plan on growing if they don't make their contact info readily available. I'm having to message people on their social media posts. Yeah, because I can't find their email address or they don't have a working phone number. Not even just like some throwdown or Google number, Google Voice that they could just leave on their desktop and answer once in a while. No, I mean, how do you want to grow? And it's not like I'm going to like Brian Tyler Cohen or Ben Johnson Or Benny Johnson sucks. Ben Shapiro. It's not like I'm going to like the big names and saying, hey, you need to join me too. I know I can't help them. They should come over here anyway, because I mean, it's still a new audience that they're not tapping, but that's on them. But these little guys need to make themselves much more readily available. And I think to practice what I preach, I'm going to be moving the contact that's under the More tab with that and Newz. And Yergs will probably be pushed back to that. I mean, just because there's only so much room. As you see this on my desktop, it looks like there's plenty of room. But the thing is, what happens when you use a smaller monitor? This gets resized automatically, and maybe on a smaller monitor, Yergs and even affiliate stations also gets put underneath the More button, because that's all the room that there is. So, blogs and news. I got to get some up-to-date stuff on that too. We're a little bit behind. And I got to start pushing it also. And then also the contact. Like I said, that's going to get moved to the front. But these are all hotspot buttons. Mastiff.media, Office. Just that's the phone feature on your computer will open up. And if you're using this on your tablet or smartphone, it'll call the office 888-322-4298. The studio for Yergs Radio is 888-88-YERGS. And the studio for Rainbow Radio is 844-GAY-LGBT. I'm going to put this number also down here with the newsroom. I might try to get a vanity number for the newsroom too. Yeah, I got some ideas for the 7 or 8. I only had 5 for Yergs, but that phone number is 888-889 something, 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 something. But still, it's easy to remember. 888-88 Yergs. Gay LGBT. Oh, I will pay for that before I eat. That's how cool that phone number is. And I know I'm going to find something similar that matches the newsroom. I got another idea too. I hope that works. That'd be so funny. All right. Where are we at? I got to take one more break. When we come back, more on Epstein. Donnie says that Danny Boy's okay. Are he and Bondi back to speaking? We'll get through the comments. There you go. Let's do these quick. Let me see. For terrific, skilled in multiple fields of medicine, engineering, science, and martial arts. That's it. Boring. And I thought you would get the joke when Marvel would place on top of the comic the most blah, blah, blah. I don't even get the explanation either. Ken also says, you would see something like that on top of a Fantastic Four comic before the title card. Nope. No idea what you're talking about. Grand Releveler says, what's up? And hell yeah, brother. Okay. Hell yeah. And Starlink is what I was trying to think of. Thanks, Ken. Starlink is what I was trying to think of earlier. Yeah. We'll try to get some deals with them too. But play-by-play sports coming to Master Media. Going to have to show you comic book. I had all the Green Lantern comics. In fact, I wish I still had it somewhere. One of my favorite Green Lanterns is actually Kyle Rayner, the younger, smartass, cool one. And there was a big episode or edition. What is it? What is a comic book? Episode, edition? Where his intern, because Kyle Rayner's occupation in real life is a comic book artist for, I guess, somebody like DC Comics. And his intern is this twinky little gay kid. And Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern was so cool that he and the Ring went together so well that he didn't need the Ring anymore. He could leave the Ring at home and still be Green Lantern, just like psh, with his hand. And he actually changed who he was temporarily. He was a superhero called Ion and was very much godlike. And he said, this isn't okay. This is why the Ring chose me. I need to go back to wearing the Ring. And he goes back to being Green Lantern. He's no longer Ion. And one of the things that he gets pissed off about is that during the course of all of this, he sees crime moments before it happens, and he stops it, prevents it, even turns people to good. And his gay intern and his boyfriend were on a date, and they got mugged. And he never saw that coming. And he goes into this rage that is also not appropriate. And, he talks to Barry Allen, then the Barry Allen that was the Flash. He talks to Clark Kent. He talks to Bruce Wayne. They're like, yeah, no, it happened. Let it go. You've got to, you can do what you can to go after who it was that did it along, superhero law and whatever. But that's it. And I forget, other parts of it. Does he go back in time? Or, what the rest of the dilemma is. But he has to live. I guess he decides he's going to live with the fact that he can't be, even as a godlike character like Ion, he can't be everywhere at once. And so he's like, okay, maybe this ain't for me. And this kid's in the hospital. He and I think Star Sapphire, who's a bad guy. No, that was Hal Jordan's. Star Sapphire was Hal Jordan's girlfriend. His girlfriend, Kyle's girlfriend, and he find the kid's work gear bag. What's that guy call it? It's a satchel. And in it is the intern's sketchbook. And they're thumbing. Oh, I'm getting chills telling the story. They're thumbing through the sketchbook. And there is a sketch of Kyle Rayner as the Green Lantern. Yeah. Wow. And Kyle goes, son of a bitch. He always knew. Just like a parent who had always knew that their son was gay. And that was actually one of the most sold Green Lantern issue. That's what it is. Something that I've got plenty of. One of the most sold Green Lantern issues in DC Comics history was that LGBT gay issue with the intern. I used to have it. It just pisses me off that I can't get it anymore. And I have no idea where it's at. I wouldn't have thrown it out. So, and this was back, I was in college and whatever, and still lived at home. Yeah, thanks. Comic book issue. All right, I got to take a break. When we come back, Bondi's up. This is Up the Middle. I'm Yergs on the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back after these words.
Hey gang, it's Yergs, host of Up the Middle. With my university degrees in history and political science, and 21 years as a special agent in the U.S. Secret Service, I've lived what others can only talk about. Join me, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, Monday through Friday, on Yergs Radio, Rainbow Radio, and Right Talk Radio. Up the Middle. Politics for the rest of us. Hey gang, my name's Yergs. I'm the CEO of the Yerger Group and Mastiff Media. We're partnering with Dare Media of Australia and are looking for new content. Do you have a podcast? Or maybe a live stream? Does it have a positive message? Is it about sports? Is it political? Is it news coverage? Is it for the LGBT community? Or is it even music? Don't forget, we're partnering with Dare Media of Australia. So not only could your program be heard on our stations here in the United States, but also in Australia. So if that's you, send us an email on air at yergsradio.com. That's on air at yergsradio.com. The yergs.radio URL does not have email. On air at yergsradio.com. And let's get you on air. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training, a dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness.
So next, Mastiff Media is now on Discord. Join us all there. Of course, when Ken is. That's the Superfan Ken watches. Listen from when he's not on Twitch. Sometimes he's on both. Go to the QR code. Just scan the QR code on your screen. The invite is way the hell too long. Yeah. If you want it and you can't scan the QR code on your screen, send us an email. You know what the address is. Newz, N-E-W-Z, at Yergs, YERGC.com, and I'll send you the link. But definitely, we'll be doing some things special to Discord in the next couple of weeks. So get on there now. Of course, our subscription service. Get grandfathered in there.
Also, Mastiff.media, we've got upgrades. We just went through some of them. For more coming soon. Scan that QR code. Or simply go, as always, to Mastiff.media. For live video, show notes, and other info. Mastiff.media. And don't forget, Canton Branch. Scan that QR on the top corner. Or get rid of it. Oh, there's the tone tip. You can do that one too. All right. So one thing we forgot to talk about before I went on my other diatribes and blabbing is the rest of the pharmaceutical stuff. So in the next 18 minutes, we're going to talk about that and Danny Boy and company. So here's the article. I'm going to read some of this. Actually, there's not too much, so I think I can knock this out. This is from Reuters. Australia is urgently seeking more detail on U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to raise tariffs up to 200% on pharmaceutical imports, Treasurer Jim Chalmers said on Wednesday. Trump announced plans to impose tariffs on pharmaceuticals, as well as 50% tariff on copper imports. That's what we talked about earlier, during a cabinet meeting in Washington hours earlier. These are obviously very concerning developments, Chalmers told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, what we here in the United States call the other ABC. Chalmers said while the U.S. accounted for less than 1% of Australia's copper exports, the pharmaceutical industry has much more exposed to the impact of tariffs. Much more concerning are the developments around pharmaceuticals, he said. And that's why we're urgently seeking, some more detail on what's been announced. Medicines and pharmaceuticals are among Australia's top exports to the U.S., with around a $2.1 billion, $1.37 billion. Okay, so $2.1 billion, I'm thinking that is in Australian dollars. Oh, that A is capitalized, so yes. 2.1 billion Australian dollar / 1.37 billion US dollar in shipments per year, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Chalmers also said the Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme, a national program, really, that's the name of it? The Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme, a national benefits program that subsidizes a wide range of prescription medicines for Australians, was not on the table as a bargaining chip to escape the threatened tariffs. We're not willing to compromise PBS. See, we got a different PBS, public broadcasting system. That's also on the table, the chopping block from this asshat. And I'm not talking about Chalmers. We're not willing to compromise the PBS. We're not willing to negotiate or trade away what is a really important feature of the health system. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You know what you need to do? Say, the world needs our pharmaceuticals. You're the United States. You're awesome. You don't need it. Get it somewhere else. You're making everything at home, Donald? Start with pharmaceuticals. Peace out, bitch. And tell Donald to go fuck himself. We are. All right.
President Trump is facing a
All right. President Trump is, I don't even call him president. I just don't. Why? So here is the 8-minute story that happened a couple days ago from the initial pissing match between Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Director of the FBI, a former Secret Service coworker of mine, Danny Boy Bongino. And believe me, I say what's the word I'm looking for? I say insulting things at Bongino. Believe me when I tell you, I'm no fan of bondage bitch either. Pam Bondage. She's got the whole justice system tied up. Oh, I like that. That was good. All right. Well, here's the story on these two. Here we go. Pam and Danny. Take one.
President Trump is facing a revolt within his loyal MAGA base, all over his administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. Now,
Among other issues, you make it sound like that's the only thing he's got going on. No, there's other shit he's screwed up too.
now some Republicans are calling for Attorney General Pam Bondi to be fired. The fury appears to be growing after she released a memo last week on the notorious sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein, that said there was no evidence Epstein was murdered and no existence of a so-called client list of men who trafficked underage girls.
You know what evidence there is that he was murdered? And you know what evidence is there is that there was a client list? The fact that she says there's no evidence of either one. That's your evidence. That is what those of us in law enforcement call a clue. It's a lead. God damn, dude, trim your eyebrows. Don't they get in your way? Can you even see? Like, seriously.
President Trump defended Bondi this weekend, even attending a soccer match with her on Sunday. But the anger isn't just coming from outside the administration. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino reportedly considered resigning after a heated confrontation with Bondi over the case.
Oh, Dan, what are you doing? You know we wear dark suits in government. You were there when Obama got chastised for the tan suit. Come on. You're wearing that? Oh, I want to buy a used car. I don't know why. Dan, what are you doing? You've fallen so far from PPD. PPD stands for Presidential Protective Division. He's fallen so far from PPD, a place he didn't belong in the first place.
Here was the president yesterday talking about Bongino's future.
Mr. President, is Dan Bongino still your deputy FBI director? Have you spoken with him?
I think so. I did. I spoke to him today.
I think so. I don't really know. I don't know the guy. I see him around the White House once in a while. He said, remember when he said that about his own son-in-law? Donnie, you know he married your daughter, right? You know, the hot one? He's stupping her.
Today, Dan Bongino, very good guy. I've known him a long time. I've done his show many, many times.
Okay, 3 things there. 2 of them are true. He's done Dan Bongino's show too many times. He has known him a long time. He's not a good guy. He's an ass.
And he sounded terrific, actually. No, I think he's in good shape.
Joining us now, New York Times White House correspondent Tyler Pager. He's the co-author of 2024, How Trump Retook the White House and the Democrats Lost America. Also with us, MSNBC national security and intelligence analyst and retired FBI agent Rob D'Amico. So, Tyler, you've got this internal battle now between Bongino and Bondi, but also the president himself is
on the Jeffrey Epstein files. I don't think they're telling us the truth about Epstein.
Who would you guys prefer, Bongino or Bondi? Okay, 7,000 to 0.
They want Dan.
So, Tyler, help us understand why this fracture in the Trump world. This seems to be the issue, unlike any other issue that is really dividing the base and even making them turn on President Trump. Do they think their own people are now engaging in the same cover-up that they've alleged for years?
Yeah, look, I think this is a really good example of the challenges of being inside government when you spend a lot of years outside government making sweeping promises.
Okay, his problem is that those earbuds being Bluetooth and his audio not being set up properly, there's a delay. That's why he's sounding like I have to listen to everything I say first before I say something. That's what's happening. Bluetooth. That's why you don't wear Bluetooth on the radio or in your streaming. Oh.
In claims that then are not based in reality and hard to prove, and you have a big
claims that are not based in reality. Welcome to the Trump 2.0.
Anxious and demanding more information. I think this is, President Trump has expanded the tent of the Republican Party and people into government who spent many years stoking conspiracy theories. And so now that there is,
you think?
Those people in government, the base is expecting them to deliver on what they had promised, and they are not satisfied that there are not the answers and, that they have been looking for. And so this divide, I think, is really a fascinating window into the sort of new Republican Party that Donald Trump has constructed. I also think one of the really interesting...
Cut him off. You were going to. That's why he's jumping in there. He knows he's done, and he thinks he's more important. Cut off Blake Fisher. Some of you get that joke.
Things about this moment, Anna, is that this is Donald Trump taking a different tack than he has in the past. We saw in his first term firings and backstabbing and a lot of chaos in terms of personnel.
That's still here. There's lots of chaos. There's going to be a lot of firings coming. These people are not going to last a full year, many of them. The reason why some of the other people lasted as long as they did is because they are who we called the adults in the room. They were career professional experts within the various departments that were promoted or were advisors or were selected by the Republican Party out of desperation because Trump didn't have anybody else. Whatever it was, they were the ones that kept the reins on him. That's gone.
This term, it is very clear that Donald Trump does not want those storylines. He's trying to keep the base happy. He's trying to keep his cabinet in place. But we're seeing these fissures, and this is not, this is one of the most dramatic ones as it relates to the base, but it's not the first time we've seen the base turn on some of Donald Trump's personnel hires. We've seen Laura Loomer go into the Oval Office, demand and get some of the NSC staffers fired. We saw a lot of consternation in Donald Trump's base as it pertained to his decision to strike Iran. And so I think we're seeing these build up as Trump is in power with these people and making decisions. Now that they're in government, they have to answer to the base that has been demanding some answers.
Yeah, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were among those who were pushing the conspiracy theories and the allegations of a cover-up around this case before they joined the FBI. And a source described Bongino in particular as, quote, out of control furious. I wonder, Rob, what do you make of this moment for the FBI?
So he's sitting there with like a stare, like he's pissed. This Rob guy from the former FBI guy. And I'm wondering if he's going to be like super behind Bongino, or if he's going to be part of the anti-Bongino, anti-Patel crowd that is super FBI. This is going to be interesting.
And the DOJ.
I do think both of them believed what they were saying, and they're making a lot about it. But I do believe that they truly believe that there was some Epstein list and everything else. And then when they got into the FBI, they actually saw there was no list. All my sources.
No. It's called being bought and paid for, moron.
Just tell me there is no absolute list. There's lots of things in FBI.
Oh, what do I usually say, Ken? What do I usually say? It's not that hard. Pam Bondi said that she had all this on her desk.
Well, she didn't mean the list. She meant the entire file. Are you telling me that we've convicted someone and sent that woman to prison for the rest of her life for trafficking young women for the purpose of sex? Trafficking illegally young women who were not of age for the purpose of sex for third parties. We've sentenced her. We found her guilty. We've sentenced her to life in prison or whatever it is. It's going to be the rest of her life. And now all of a sudden, it's just not there. We've read those thousands of pages that apparently say nothing. It's just not there. We need to get over it. Because Donald Trump doesn't know anything about Project 2025. You can believe that, even though his name is mentioned 300 and some times. That's one time for every 3 pages. I promise you, you can write a 3-page document and you put my name in there one time every 3 pages. I'm going to know about it. So this is just another deflection. And this asshat is also bought and paid for. Oh, it's not that hard, Ken. Tell them.
File, but some of them are witnesses just talking, and it's not provable. It's just someone's opinion or someone's take on it. There's a lot of...
That's why it's called testimony. That's why you are under oath. I mean, look at that asshat in the middle. You think any of his testimony during his confirmation hearings were worth the audio it was recorded on? Who nominates it? Oh, forget it. We know.
Victim information in there. You may be able to put together a list on what people say, but there's no...
Yes, that's what we want. Get off your ass and put together the list that you said you were going to do, Pam.
List. There's no evidence that he was blackmailing everyone. And when they saw...
Wait a minute. Who said anything about blackmail? Who said anything about blackmail? Might this be yet another MAGA projection? I mean, let's think if any of this may have happened in the past. Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, very anti-Trump, goes down to Mar-a-Lago, meets with Trump. Everything's great. I love Trump now. I understand better. Mike Johnson, same thing. Beaker, the senator that looks like Beaker. Can't think of that. Mitch McConnell. Looks like that one Muppet from the Beaker from the Muppets. All of them. Lindsey Graham. Ted Cruz. All of them. No, there's no blackmail going on at all. Oh, my God. And here's what's sad. Not that this jerk is up there sitting there and talking like he actually knows what he's talking about. But people believe it. People now think that because this guy got up there and said Pam Bondi's right, there's nothing to see here. They're going to go, oh, I must have been wrong on the long list of other shit that made sense.
That I think they came to realize it, and now they're in a situation where now their own base thinks that they fell into this deep state, that they're not telling the truth, which is surprising. And same thing, if in fact, I think if there was information in there in Trump, I think we would have saw it in the last election. I don't think there's anything in there about him specifically, just because I think that would have gotten out.
I paused the wrong
what
thing.
people don't understand.
We did see it in the last election. Google Trump Epstein, and then click on the Images tab. All right, we're going to ditch this asshat. I think, yeah. Oh, shit. It's past 1 o'clock. Damn it. Why didn't he? Oh, jump in or something. We're past 1 o'clock and we're past, I don't leave. I don't leave Facebook because every time I get all these goddamn alerts. Yeah, and there's 2 from Glenn. Oh. Sorry. Got into a rant. Radio cutting. All right, so anybody on the radio, Sportcat's up next. If you're listening to this on any of the Mastiff Media radio network, Sportcat's next. I'm going to cut the radio so you can take it. I'll see you tomorrow. And for those of you, I clearly... oh, yeah. Yergs went into a tizzy. We had a moment. Time flies when you're having a good day. My God. I mean, what's that you always say? That's right. It's not that hard. But you're right about this, Ken. The funny thing is, this is what the MAGA fan base chose to get mad about, of all things. Then and now. Like back when it wasn't Trump and it was Biden that was supposedly on Epstein Island and Clinton. Oh, my God. We got to release the files. Now, I'm glad to see that there's a certain level of bullshit being called. But even so, you're also right. This is what they get pissed about. We have Alligator Auschwitz. We have SS stormtroopers marching the streets of the United States. And this is what we choose to get just because T-Rump wants some pussy. Nobody got pissed about it when it was an intern in the Clinton administration. I guess because she was of age. Fair enough. I won't say nobody. I know there's some people that were pissed about it. I protected one of the people who was pissed about it. Yeah. This is the silliness that is. I got to see. I see T-Rump fat and wearing an Epstein shirt. I've got to see this. What is this saying? Frequent flyer of Epstein Airlines. What files? Yeah. Is that Epstein Airlines? That's my buddy Alex. I gotta hit on that. That's way too funny. Todd Sandfield. Hold on. I gotta figure this out here. Please do not email me at Brandon. And if anyone, hold on, to business scammers, you're fucking retarded. Yeah. I got to write this, though. I don't know why he's getting a picture of this, but my buddy Alex, who's a Trump supporter, is at a junkyard and has 2 airplane fuselages in this junkyard that he got a photo of. Oh, there's another guy. Oh, this guy's... This is a realtor from Palm Springs. When I knew him, he had a boyfriend and was using a lot. Now he's straightened out and single and young enough to be my son, but I would definitely be his daddy. Anyway, I don't know where the fuselage photos from my buddy Alex was coming from, but I just sent him a message asking, is it Epstein or Trump Air? All right. So tomorrow, more on the tariffs. I'm going to ask Katie to see if she can help me with resurface that the meme, and I'll, of course, research the data on the meme to make sure it's actually accurate. Because just because it's a Facebook meme or whatever doesn't mean anything. But yeah, great show, everybody. Great talking with all of you. And that's it. Let me see. That's over. Radio's off. I can close that. Yeah. Twitter Spaces. Thanks for joining, everybody. We're going to close this one down. And what else for the Epsteinth time? I might break down and give that one a check mark too, because that's me. That's my name. Oh, God. I'm such a moron. What else? Let's see. Now, just thumbing through Facebook.
The fallout is continuing over the...
All right, so this is from AP. Let's wrap up with this. This from the Associated Press.
The fallout is continuing over the Justice Department's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. We're aware of a significant and tense exchange at the White House last week between FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino and Attorney General Pam Bondi. This all centers on a decision that the Justice Department made last week to not release any additional records or details from the Epstein investigation. This was a surprise to elements of Donald Trump's base, who have been under the expectation there was going to be significant new information that was going to be surfacing. And now we're seeing a lot of turmoil within the ranks of the FBI and Justice Department leadership. We did hear President Donald Trump weigh in himself last night.
Dan Bongino, very good guy. I've known him a long time. I've done his show many, many times. And he sounded terrific, actually. No, I think he's in good shape.
He also has really thrown his support behind Pam Bondi during this conflict, and has basically told his base and his supporters to rally behind her.
There you go. All right, everybody. Let's get out of that. Well, actually, let's go there. There we go. Gang, thanks for letting us go over a little bit. It's time for lunch. Thanks for getting off the porch, running with the big dogs, and going with me and everybody straight up the middle. I'll see you tomorrow.